Well, it's pretty similar to what we have in the NFL. So
An easier to tamper, easy to manufacture, easier to manipulate version of the NFL free agency. College football has changed forever, and like I told you, it's just the mini NFL, confirmed by the fact that one of the greatest NFL head coaches and GMs of all time, Billy O. Belichick, is there at UNC doing the big bad business. So he's going to talk again, like he does on the Pat McAfee show, about transfer, NIL, different things that UNC has to deal with, and Bill Belichick's expertise probably helps with because he's already been doing with the NFL, man. So if you're enjoying these videos, these NIL coverage, transfer portal stuff, obviously we can't show the full video, so we're going to have the audio playing as we listen to the wonderful mind that is Bill Belichick. Like I said, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, man. Let's hop right into it and enjoy this little video of the dude doing the turf stuff.
So I'm headed back to Chapel Hill to have a big recruiting weekend there. UNC BC basketball, so big game Saturday.
Hell yeah, they just signed the number 6 overall recruit, I do believe, to North Carolina basketball. He was on a lower ticket this morning. Everything's up for North Carolina. Everybody thought this part of the process you would hate. Have you enjoyed it more than you expected, and how's it been going?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great to get out on the road, see some of the great high school coaches and programs, players. Still got a lot more to hit, but it's been fun connecting with so many people, some new, some old, but it's been a great process, and there's a lot of really good kids out there. It's been fun to see them.
What are the questions that they're asking? Are they talking about money first and foremost? Are they asking about development, projection? What is the conversation usually regard between you and a potential North Carolina football player?
Oh, really, it's about the player investing in his future. The next few years will be critical to his career, both, professionally, whether that be in football or out of football, and that investment North Carolina is a great place for that to happen, both on the field and in the football program, but also, it's a great university with, great educational programs. So if they invest in us at Carolina, we'll have them ready to go when they leave.
Yeah, whether it's in professional football or just your professional life, you're going to be a better human, hopefully, after you leave the North Carolina football program. AJ has a question for you, Coach.
Coach, there's reports that Jeremiah Smith, obviously the stud receiver at Ohio State, got offered $4.5 million to enter the portal and possibly go somewhere else. And there's other guys getting offers, I guess, all over the place. Like, what do you make of all this, how this is working now, the NIL situation, and how do you navigate throughout this through the years?
It's pretty similar to what we have in the NFL. So it's as I said, it's a little bit of a combination between the day, a couple hours after the draft, when all the undrafted players are negotiating their contracts to be on a roster, and free agency just in general, where those couple days of the let's call it legal tampering period, I think they call it, when you're talking to agents trying to work out deals with them before the players are actually allowed to visit and you're allowed to talk to them. It's not the same, but it's sort of a combination of those two NFL events. So it is what it is. I mean, there's a lot of money, promises, and opportunity being discussed. And
not to cut him off, just to yap real quick, but again, this is something that Bill Belichick has said almost every single time they've asked him about this, right? We've talked about this for a few times. Bill Belichick has been on Pat McAfee shows talking specifically about this and adamantly about the fact, like, hey, dog, it's just the NFL. And I think a lot of people were kind of questioned why Bill Belichick, this ultimate NFL guy, why would he want to go down to UNC or go down to the college level? It's not, I don't think, just because he loves football and obviously his links with his family. I believe his dad coached there at one point, but also because it's probably a really easy transition the way it is. It's an easier to tamper, easy to manufacture, easier to manipulate version of the NFL a transfer portal, not transfer portal, a free agency, except there's just even less rules. Craziness.
And everybody's in on it. The players, the teams that have the players, the teams that are looking for the players, and following the guidelines that are the process, which are not as well defined as they were in the NFL, but that's what it is.
Okay, so on that note, there's no marketplace, right? There's no comps. How do you know? Or are you just trying to do as much research as possible, or are you putting the value on the players and not worrying about what everybody else is doing?
Yeah, exactly. I think you put your own value on them, and if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Maybe you have to readjust your values as you get more information. But ultimately you have to make your own decisions on that.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing because you hear $4.5 million. You guys were allegedly given $8 million, and Lombardi came out and said, we didn't. If that's somebody not us did that. But that's like kind of the world we're in. Absurd numbers are tossed out. Is that all for negotiation and leverage, or is that reality? I guess you got to cipher through that. Let's talk about the NFL real quick.
Pat, it's free agency, and I think I think Mike's handled that great. I've been on the phone with him many times where they say, well, we've been offered, $2 million or whatever to go wherever. And Michael said, well, then you should take that. That's a great offer. Go ahead. And then they come back and say, well, we might have 2 million, but what do you have?
Yeah.
So, it's just part of the process. You gotta enjoy the process and embrace it, because you can't change it. And so you eventually just figure it out.
It's public.
Mike's really good at it, though.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great place to kind of lead into that, or at least the bigger phases here, and it's kind of the damage that's been done, right? And I think the bigger conversation here is it needs to be focused on the fact that, all right, not just the NFL parallel, right, but this idea of what these agents are doing. This is something that I've been beating my drum about, because a lot of people get in the comments, a lot of people see these NIL deals and stuff, and it's easy to paint these 18 to 20 something year olds as a bunch of millionaires, right? Some of them are millionaires, some of them are millionaires, but not all of them, right? Not even, I think most of them. I think most of them are a couple thousandaires. I think most of them are making more than the average Joe showing up to work. I think I think most of them are clearing a real deal monthly salary. You know what I'm saying? Like at the bare minimum. So people say like the money is spread out. Yeah, it is. But at the same time, all that money is being taxed, right? All that money is being taken by an agent. And this is the same agent, to Bill Belichick's point, that was going around saying, hey, we got 2 million over here. We got 80 million over here, right? And it doesn't seem to be that way because of the lack of structure. These agents are just doing whatever and putting numbers on whatever and trying to force this opportunity or trying to force this numbers in a world of college football where I don't think you should be leveraging in that way, right? I feel like college football is a type of game where, again, the perfect world is not going to happen. Perfect world, you should recruit, get these people in, a part of the team, and then we can sit down and talk about money. Now that you are a part of our team, now that you're committed, right? And because I feel like that is more so the reward that we wanted to give, not just, hey, let's just throw money at the wall and become a bidding war. If you don't know, there's something called wholesale real estate. Wholesale real estate is kind of a scam. It was something I tried to do back in the day, get rich. I'm sure y'all have gotten big money on it. I just wasn't good at it. I tried to do it back in freshman year of college, just looking into it, trying to get rich. And the idea is you call somebody's listing, right? And you say, hey, yo, I got a buyer ready. Like right now, $800,000. And they say, okay, bet. And then I go, 1 second. And then I go call a bunch of buyers and say, hey, yo, I got this house on the market for $900,000. It usually go for $1 million. Y'all gonna buy it? And then I get a buyer. Oh, okay. Then you go back and forth. It's a bunch of open promises, right? And it's a bunch of hoping the dots connect from these agents, right? So they can get their cool 20-25% right off the top, right? But I think what's lost in all that is when we start looking at these players and saying they're whatever and they're millionaires and this and that, we lose the fact that this wasn't just these players are greedy. It's that these players understand there's a lot of money being thrown around. They try to hire counsel to do what's doing best, but these motherfuckers, they're salesmen. They're not team creators. These agents aren't looking out for, oh, well, this is going to be the perfect offensive match. No, they're looking for money so they can get their percentage off the top of it. And it's going to cause a lot of nasty situations, a lot of weird situations, right? So I just, like I said, just to double down on what Belichick is saying, like this is the NFL with even less rules. I know I kind of alluded to that as well. And then talking about the whole $8 million thing, we're going to have a video about that. But that was the idea that, Bill Belichick was about to offer like $8 million to Quinn Ewers or to Arch Manning, right? Like, and that's how does that happen? How does someone as prestigious as a Manning, Arch Manning, who you would think shouldn't be tied to any crazy NIL rumors or transfer portal XYZ, he's even getting pulled into this. So it's a lot of nastiness, man. But just to close out the video, let's take a look at some of the damage that Billy Belichick has done. Obviously, first off, like you're seeing in the background, get that turf out of here. Get it out of here. Yeah. if you don't know, turf is linked to a lot of lower body injuries, torn ACLs, a blown, what's it called? What's that back down there? What's your Achilles heel? Blown Achilles, things like that. It's some very dangerous stuff. And as somebody, if y'all didn't know, who had an ACL injury myself in high school, I'm very, very impartial, and this makes me feel good. It makes me feel good that this is what an investment into a school looks like. The intentionality behind this. Oh no, we're not just gonna get new stuff. We're gonna get real grass, right? So when we, this isn't their practice field, but sometimes we do walkthroughs in the main field. When we do our walkthroughs, when we play our real football game, nobody is at a higher risk of getting those lower body injuries. I think that's extremely important to think about. So shout out to Bill Belichick. That's one of the other big updates when it comes to UNC. And then recruiting wise, right? Going into the transfer portal, still scooping up people, right? He's doing dirt in the free agency. He seems to be throwing around some money around there. I know UNC got a few bucks. Washington Star transfer cornerback Thaddeus Dixon has committed to North Carolina. The 6'1", 195 cornerback total 69 tackles. 16 pass deflections, 1 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions in 2 seasons. Ranked as a top 10 player in the portal, number 2 cornerback. So bolstering players, but it doesn't stop there, because I think one of the most important places that you gotta attack is you still gotta build through high school, baby. And this is a cool story here. We got Mr. Midfielder Gary Merrill, right? Longtime UNC lacrosse commit and the top 25 ranked midfielder, just announced he'll also play for football after receiving a recent offer from Belichick and his staff. Now, I'm not sure if the dude's a big bad slinger. It seems to be he's more of a, from what it looks like, he seems to be a lacrosse player that happens to play football. So, maybe he can do some backup stuff. Maybe he can do whatever. But I mean, if you know anything about lacrosse, those are some tough motherfuckers. All right. That, like, it's okay. It's kind of like having a rugby player on your team. I guess the American version of it, right? Where, hey, he might not play. He might not whatever. We could put him at tight end if it really needs to get that dirty, right? Because he's going to be that guy that's just going to want to be able to put a lot of grit down there and do it big. Here's his little story here. So St. Anthony, a high school quarterback, already had a lacrosse scholarship in North Carolina. Now he'll play football for the Tar Heels 2 under new head coach. Let's see if he has any words to say here.
This year I just had a big year and realized I don't want to waste my talent, and I really love football, so I wanted to play it in college.
Give me your thoughts about having the chance to play for this guy. That Gary, you know the deal, man. That's the GOAT, right?
Yeah, I mean, I love coaches that just want to win, and that's my whole motto. So I'm really excited, and obviously he's turned a whole bunch of people and to great players. So I'm really excited. He knows what he's doing with whatever position. I don't know if I'm going to be a quarterback, wide receiver, defense, whatever. He'll put me in the best position to play and succeed in the game.
Coach Belichick, huge lacrosse fan. I'm sure that's probably an advantage for you. Do you like the fact that this is a guy who makes it clear he really enjoys lacrosse?
Yeah, I think it's cool because it will be easier adjusting because the schedule and everything. He'll understand that I'm also playing lacrosse, so he'll get it, and I'll probably have a conversation with him about lacrosse and stuff. So
that's super cool, right? Double to the story, and the kid's you know what I'm saying? I thought that's a Bill Belichick cut type kid. You know what I mean? If there was a kid version of what you would think Bill Belichick would get in the NFL, big dude, he can do a little bit of this, he can do a bit of that, he can do a little bit of big body stuff. I like it. The young kid's got a head on his shoulder. That's a cool story. Lacrosse and foosball. When I was young, I tried to ask my mom to play lacrosse and football. I used to think it was because lacrosse was too dangerous. I only played football. No, then I got older and I saw how much lacrosse costs. Oh my God. Football was already burning a hole through my mom's pocket. He gonna play. That's a whole nother set of pads and sticks and they had a wire and stuff. I don't know. It's crazy. But good times, man. Great times, man. If you're enjoying these videos, the updates with UNC, transfer portal, stuff like that, man. Hey, man, Bill Belichick's going to break the transfer portal because he's going to make it even more NFL than it possibly could be. If you have any comments, concerns, or anything like that, any suggestions for off-season comments, leave that, or off-season content, leave that down below, man. Y'all be great, beautiful, phenomenal. Leave a like if you like it, dislike if you don't like it, subscribe to your culture for content. We'll see you next time.